Is it a bit too early to be talking about 2024 offseason signings? Probably, yeah, but I think this is a pitcher that should be on every Red Sox fan's radar. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and no, this video is not about Shohei Ohtani, as much as that would be absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure we will be making Shohei Ohtani videos at some point within the next few months. No, this video is about another Japanese ace caliber pitcher that would be perfect for the top of this Red Sox rotation, and it's also a pitcher that the Red Sox have shown interest in lately. However, this may be a pitcher that could be a bit difficult for the Red Sox to get. So what we are going to do in today's videos, we are going to talk about this Japanese superstar. We're going to talk about why they make so much sense for the Boston Red Sox and how well they would fit in on this Red Sox team, and we're going to talk about why it may be a bit difficult for the Red Sox to sign someone like this Japanese superstar. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. So recently, the Twitter account Yakyu Cosmopolitan, which translates to Baseball Cosmopolitan in Japanese, it's a Twitter account that covers the NPB in Japanese baseball in English for English speakers who want to pay attention to Japanese baseball, tweeted out a picture of a Red Sox scout at an Oryx Buffaloes game. Now, the reason that Red Sox scout was there was for one player, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Now, Yamamoto has actually been in the NPB for a pretty decent amount of time now. Yamamoto made his debut in 2017, where he was used sort of as a middle reliever, and in his first season at the NPB level, Yamamoto had a 2.35 ERA in 57 1/3 innings, allowing just 9 walks in that time and striking out 48. The next year was his first full year at the NPB, and he ended up moving into more of a setup man role, kind of like a Chris Martin that we have on today's Red Sox team. And in 2018, he really started to make a name for himself, because during the 2018 season, Yamamoto had a 2.10 ERA over 77 innings pitched, allowing just 23 walks, striking out 69 batters, and only giving up 4 home runs the entire year. 2018 was really his stepping off point, and it was also the point where the front office of the Oryx Buffaloes decided that, hey, maybe we should give this guy a shot in the rotation, and boy, did they make the right decision, because since joining the rotation in 2019, over his last 4 seasons as a starting pitcher, including 2023, Yamamoto's highest ERA, his worst season was in 2020, where he had just a 2.42 ERA. His best season during that time was in 2021, where in 26 starts, Yamamoto had a 1.39 ERA. He struck out 206 batters, only walked 40 of them, and gave up 7 home runs all year. This year, Yamamoto has started 7 games for Oryx, where he has a 1.43 ERA. He has struck out 75 batters, good for a 9.7 strikeouts per 9. He has walked just 11 batters in that time so far, good for a 1.4 walks per 9. And he has allowed just 1 home run, good for a 0.11 home runs per 9. Simply put, this dude has been absolutely insane since becoming a starting pitcher at the NPB level. Now, most of this is credited to his pitch mix. He has a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, a splitter, a cutter, and a curveball. His fastballs tend to sit around 92 to 95 miles an hour, but he has topped out around 97 in certain cases. And one thing that a lot of scouts have noted with Yamamoto's fastball is that it doesn't tend to drop when he pitches deep into games. In fact, he pitches most games pretty deep. He had a no-hitter last year, and he ends up going between 7 and 8 innings most outings. From what most scouts have noticed, his velocity doesn't drop at all. In fact, one scout even said that towards the end of Yamamoto's outing, he thought that his velo had actually picked up. That's a big plus when it comes to Yamamoto's fastballs, but those aren't really his best pitches. In fact, most people consider his curveball his best pitch. It is long, it is looping, and it absolutely disappears on batters. It's where where he gets his most swings and misses. Most scouts all agree that this is a curveball that could easily play in Major League Baseball. On top of that too, he also has that splitter that one Japanese teammate by the name of Yamazaki also stated could be a Major League put-out pitch at any point when Yamamoto decides to come over to the Major Leagues. So his pitch arsenal is absolutely fantastic. Plus, on top of all of those pitches, he also mixes in a cutter as well. He has a great pitch mix that he utilizes to not only get a lot of swings and misses, but he's also a lot of strikes within the strike zone. He isn't walking a ton of guys, and he generates a lot of weak contact between his cutter, his splitter, and his curveball. Add all of that together on top of a really kind of funky delivery, Yamamoto has become one of, if not the best pitchers in Japanese baseball over the last 5 years. And if you weren't already excited enough about what I've already told you about Yamamoto, the dude's also only 25 years old. He has not hit his peak yet, and he is a guy who, if brought to the Red Sox, would be the perfect solution for the top of this rotation, right? What have we kind of heard the Red Sox or seen the Red Sox tend to focus on over these last couple of years? Controllability and youth, right? Adding in Yamamoto would allow you to build around an ace caliber pitcher in Bayo, complementing him with an ace caliber pitcher of his own in Yamamoto, and allowing those two to grow together, as well as with the core of this Red Sox team. And to make matters even better, he's best friends with Masataka Yoshida. Yoshida and him played together on the Oryx Buffaloes, and they were really good friends. So not only would he be a perfect fit for the Red Sox rotation and philosophy of what they're working towards, but he'd also already be fairly comfortable with his team having Masataka Yoshida there. All sounds well and good. So what are the hurdles in the way, and why may it be impossible for the Red Sox to bring him to Boston? Right now, there are actually a couple of things that could be a bit of hurdles for the Red Sox to jump over before they can even get to Yamamoto and sign him to a contract. The biggest one is that he is eligible to become an international free agent as opposed to an amateur international free agent. He meets MLB's requirements, which is you have to be 25 years old and you have to have 6 years or more of service time in another professional baseball league. So the good news there is that the Red Sox or any other team in baseball wouldn't have to pull from their international free agent pool money to sign Yamamoto, but that also means every team in baseball has the opportunity to negotiate with them. And with how well Yamamoto has been pitching over the last couple of years, he's going to be one of the most highly touted international free agents we may have ever seen, right? Most people are assuming that he is definitely going to get the biggest Japanese-born pitching contract of all time, but there's a pretty good chance too he gets the biggest Japanese contract when he first comes over to Major League Baseball of all time as well, which I believe the current record is being held by Masataka Yoshida. So that's the first hurdle the Red Sox have to get through, the price to get Yamamoto onto this team, because there are going to be teams in Major League Baseball who are going to be offering him a hefty amount of money, and every team in baseball has the same equal right to negotiate with Yamamoto as everyone else. So that's hurdle number one. Hurdle number two is that technically right now Yamamoto is still under contract with the Oryx Buffaloes for the next couple of years, meaning that if a team wanted to sign Yamamoto, they are going to have to pay an additional fee to the Oryx Buffaloes. In this case, it is 20% of the first $25 million spent on Yamamoto. So right off the bat, if you're giving him more than $25 million, you're paying the Oryx Buffaloes $5 million. Then on top of that, you have a 17.5% fee on the next $25 million, which would automatically be $4.375 million. So if you're giving him a contract over $50 million, you're paying a little over $9 million right off the bat, and then any money outside of that $50 million, you also have to give the Oryx Buffaloes 15% of the money off that. So to break down that math a little easier for you, say the Boston Red Sox end up signing Yamamoto to a $100 million deal. In fees to the Oryx Buffaloes, on top of the $100 million already spent, the Red Sox would owe $20.625 million to the Buffaloes in that fee because they're taking that posting from the Oryx Buffaloes. So the second hurdle, or I guess the third in this scenario, would be that there is an additional very expensive fee on top of just giving the money to Yamamoto. And speaking of his contract with the Oryx Buffaloes, technically, it's not even a 100% chance that he'll even be able to be posted for Major League service time, right? Technically speaking, now, since he's under contract with the Oryx Buffaloes can basically veto his ability to come over to the States. They are the ones who end up actually posting him to the international free agent market, and really Yamamoto can say, yeah, I want to go over, but if the Oryx Buffaloes say, no, we want you here for the next 2 years, that's just what's going to happen. According to Japanese rules, you have to have 9 years of service time in the NPB before you're technically an unrestricted free agent, which at that point you wouldn't have to sign with the posting fee and you wouldn't have things vetoed by your team. So technically there are a lot of hurdles right now to get Yamamoto onto any professional team, and specifically the Boston Red Sox. Now, on top of all of that, the last deterrent that could be standing in the way is the fact of the unknown, right? He is a Japanese player who has not pitched in Major League Baseball, and you're probably going to be giving him a lot of money. Now, yes, it's worked out for players in the past, and specifically recently, right? Like Shohei, Seiya, Masa, Senga, right? You've got a lot of guys who recently come over from the NPB, and honestly, the gap between the NPB and the MLB is shrinking more than it ever has, so it's not going to be as big of an adjustment as we have seen in the past, but it's still obviously going to be an adjustment, and you still obviously don't know how well Yamamoto is going to be at the major league level, so it is a bit of a monetary risk going after Yamamoto. But when you look at guys like recently Kodai Senga, who came over, who is currently posting a 3.53 ERA with the Mets with a 1.18 ERA plus, that's a really good example of a guy who's a little bit less skilled than Yamamoto, translating really well to Major League Baseball. So the risk is still there, it's just more limited than it has been in the past. So yes, there are concerns, yes, there are hoops that the Red Sox are gonna have to go through to even get Yamamoto over here, but at the same time too, if the Red Sox want to make a big splash this offseason where they do have some money to spend, they should be making it in this rotation, and Yamamoto seems like a prime candidate for what the Red Sox are trying to do. They're trying to build a core. Yamamoto is 25 years old. He has professional experience. He has comfortability on the Red Sox with Masataka Yoshida, and he is a guy who you could slot at the top of this rotation alongside Brian Bayo to create a really dominant 1-2 up there. Now, again, Yamamoto does have his concerns, but in my opinion, if you're the Boston Red Sox, there is simply no way you can't already be looking at this guy, and that is exactly what they're doing. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of this guy? What do you think about this Japanese ace pitcher, Yoshinobu Yamamoto? What do you think of him being able to translate to Major League Baseball? What do you think about the cost? And do you think the Red Sox should take a chance and sign Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Let me know all your thoughts on this guy in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. One more thing before I head out here, this video idea was given to me by one of our members of this channel and a mod on this channel, Clip Trip, who just graduated high school, so congratulations to him. I hope the rest of everything goes well for you, and congratulations to all of the graduates within Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.